Hello, welcome to Spirit Cocktails. I'm your host, Pierre. Today we're doing a review on Uncle Bob's root beer for whiskey. Root beer. It's a lot of things coming root beer now. Root beer beer. Yeah, that's oxymoron. But now we got root beer whiskey. Who knows? Soon we probably have root beer gin, root beer vodka. Probably is a root beer vodka, but I don't know of any off the top of my head. But this one, actually, I saw on Instagram. I contacted the company. I said I definitely would love to have this on my show and do a review on it. Sometime next week, hopefully I can have a decent recipe I can add for them. But the thing is, I never tried it. Other than the fact that it's going to taste like root beer, I didn't even know what it's going to taste like. Because you have this smoky whiskey notes, and it's also aged in an oak barrel. So you're going to have that hints of whiskey, but a lot of spices that you get with root beers. So it's definitely something that's going to be different. It's going to be sweet from what I'm getting. This is about 35% alcohol. It's about 70 proof. So it's definitely a little bit more of a liqueur in a sense, because it's still pretty high, but it has more of that sugar content to it, but it's not overly sweet. And have you ever had the Not Your Father's root beer, which basically it's very, very sweet. It's good, and it actually carbonates just like soda, but it's extremely sweet. It has more of a sarsaparilla flavor to it, which means there's a lot more of the spices. So that's one thing I'm actually getting. The idea is going to come out of this. It's going to have more of the spices, more of that sarsaparilla type notes to it. To me, I like a sarsaparilla more than I like a root beer. It's just something with the different spices. It just tastes so much better. Plus, it's classic. You figure, why not? But let's see exactly how this tastes. As you see, hasn't even been opened. Still a little warm because, as I said, it only came a couple hours ago. Sitting outside in 89-degree weather, whatever it is outside. And it's muggy as hell today. So it was warm. So got a little bit of cold water to help chill it up some. Let's see how this tastes. Ooh, smells like root beer. It definitely has that going for itself. Nothing's better than warm whiskey. Get drunker faster. Now you see, it does have a good amount of thickness to it. It lingers. It just, you can see all the syrupiness that's coming in there. So it's definitely going to be a little bit sweeter. It's a nice dark color, pretty much reminiscent of a root beer. You're getting some strong root beer notes, a little bit of anise in there. A lot more of a spice. Surprisingly, not much for whiskey. You get more of the alcohol scent. That's one thing about the Not Your Father's root beer. You don't get any of the alcohol scent. This, you're getting some, obviously, because it's a higher proof. But other than just the ethanol, you're not really getting a whiskey scent out of it. It smells pretty good, though. Let's see how it tastes. It's definitely sweet. You can feel it as it coats the tongue. It's a sweet, kind of syrupy-like, but still pretty high proof. It's like kind of like maybe your spice rums, maybe 7 Tiki, which I believe that's also 70 proof. So it definitely has its potency. You do get a little bit of a burn, not much, but you're getting a little bit of anise. That's one thing also about like a sarsaparilla to a regular root beer. Sarsaparilla does have more of that anise notes to it than compared to like a standard just root beer with the spices and such. But it's sweet. It actually really does taste like root beer. Now, as far as a whiskey, you do get a little bit of that in the finish. It has a very slight smoky notes to it, because that fact it is aged in oak barrels. It does have a lot of notes you do get from that. You get your vanilla, a little bit of a nutmeg, and all the different things coming out of that wood. But it's not really strong in the whiskey, other than a little bit of bite in the end. But it's actually very sweet. It's flavorful. It's something you can drink just straight on the rocks, drink it neat, put into a cocktail. I wonder how this will be with some ice cream. Obviously, it's not going to fizz up like you would with like the Not Your Father's root beer because it's non-carbonated. But it's still going to give you the basic same idea. Maybe take some typical vanilla soft serve rum cream, and then that basically, since that tastes like vanilla ice cream, kind of give you an idea of a root beer float. But it's going to be different. Maybe that's something I might make for a recipe. There's a couple of different ideas I might have in mind for this. But hopefully by next week I have one out. But this is actually really good. It's definitely something I'm glad I got a hold of. It's very good. I'm not 100% sure on availability. You can check out their website. It'll tell you like where you can buy it and things like that. This actually got shipped to me from California, so I'm assuming it actually is from California, unless that's their PR company. But it's definitely something, as soon as I found it, I had to have it. I like it. It's very flavorful. It's a very classic type design. It looks like them, like Daddy's root beer things. Like it's a plain, basic, classic style label to it. It's not fancy. It doesn't have all these little icons on, different designs and the wood barrels. It just is very classic. So it's definitely worth trying out. Let me know what you guys think. If you have ideas for recipes to use this, just comment below or send directly. Well, you'll see the link below. Send it directly there is easier because in that way I can actually see the recipe and keep the recipe and I can possibly put it on the site. But let me know what you guys think. Be sure to like on Facebook on Spirit Cocktails. Visit them. The price point, I'm not 100% sure. I'll put an annotation here so that way you guys can see. But as always, drink responsibly.